Okay, we'll talk
Really?
about it. We'll talk about it. I'm not. I don't know why people are mad.
Really? You
Yeah,
don't know why?
100%. I don't know why.
Are you serious? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, let's just start.
Let's just start. Damn it! Welcome to the Operation STRIX podcast. I'm your host, The Crow. Joining me today, as always, are Roski, Dressman, and Cool Blue Rays. Everybody say hi.
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 Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
All right, let's try that again. There was a lot of screaming. Welcome to the Operation STRIX podcast. I am your host, The Crow. Joining me today, as always, are Roski, Dressman.
Hello.
And Cool Blue Rays.
Hi, everyone.
We have feelings. We're going to talk about those feelings here on this podcast here today with all of you. Episode or chapter 75.
Mission 75.
Mission 75. Okay, so straight off the bat, guys, what are we feeling?
Let's put it like this.
Put it like this, Roski.
Hey, let's take things one step at a time, right?
Okay. First step.
First, let's talk about the Stellas.
Oh,
all right.
Oh my god, that made me so angry.
It was exactly like you said, Blue.
I fucking hate myself. I feel I am insulted for these kids. And maybe they don't care. Maybe the parents don't care. But I fucking care.
I fucking told you.
After everything they went through, they just reward them with fucking Stella stars for surviving a hijacking. What the fuck?
Yeah, I told you that's exactly what was happening. The kids are gonna get Stella stars, and then the kids are gonna be like, "Fuck yeah, Stella stars!" And
I hate everything. This isn't normal. This isn't normal.
It is. It's 100% normal.
This is insane.
This is normal because this is exactly what an institution like this would do.
I know, but this isn't normal. For normal people, this is insane. Do you what the fuck? You don't just reward kids.
This is normal. It's fucked, but it's normal. A lot of things that are fucked are normal in our society.
Yeah, and it's just so like, all right, the kids. I should specify Anya, Becky, Damian, and Billy all got Stella stars. Like,
I was right about that too.
You were right about that.
I was right about that too.
You were right about that.
And I hate myself.
This is like, and then it cut. Okay, so it opens with that, and then we cut back to everything that happened after the standoff and everything.
Yeah.
Right. What does it say? I'm just gonna go through it as the chapter progresses. But okay, so they take the bomb off Damian. He acts like a little tough guy. All the kids are there. Everyone's fine. Becky's dad is fucking father of the year, man. Like, I fucking love Mr. Black Belt. I love Black Belt. He's like, yeah, I would never bring your mom to this. This is way too dangerous. We're going home. And they're like, okay. So then all the parents are there collecting the kids, and I love we get to see a flash of Emil and Ewan's mom and dad. And they're cute. Really they look like them. Emil looks like his mom, and
I love seeing all the parents running over for the kids.
They had to go there like, I'm at that point, it's like, I'm not gonna elaborate too much on this character, so let's just make
that's
him
fine.
Thing.
Yeah, she kind of reminds me of one of the catty old lady neighbors. The mom does.
Like with the chain on her eyeglasses and stuff.
Yeah, very bougie. Okay, so like the kid. And then Anya. Okay, Anya and Damian have a really cute moment. I want to talk about that.
That's actually.
I wish Anya was genuine more like this. Like don't get me wrong, like I love the meme faces, but I love it when she just smiles and is like just very earnest and genuine, and she's just like, no, you were super cool, Damian, like that, like you were a hero. And of course he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. But
he wasn't expecting that.
Well, right, I don't think any of us were. I thought she was just gonna make a joke at him like always, but
but I do like that he was thinking back on like the moment when she held his hand, that was really important to him, as
yeah.
we thought it had been, and it was very sweet that he said, we're just friends and whatever. And he actually said, I'm sorry. Well, he says, I know I kind of made fun of you, and I should say sorry about that too. Like, oh look, he actually apologized finally.
Yeah. That's actually
actual
great.
growth. Like, no, it's actually really good to see.
Yeah, it is.
And like everything about Damian and Anya in this chapter was great.
It was, definitely. I love Operation Friendship Scheme is a go now. Anya's super stoked at that. She's like, I'm coming over to your house tomorrow.
I know. Like, I wish she hadn't done that. She ruined the moment.
I mean, a little bit.
She ruined the moment. If she hadn't said that, Damian probably would have at least thought she wasn't also still trying to get in his good graces or whatever, because that's what he's always assuming.
Yeah. I don't think he actually believes that. I think he's back to,
I think he's just saying that,
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. I got a cat on my lap.
Oh my god, I heard that.
Well,
Kitty. Aw. Kitty's upset. It's okay, Kitty.
Sorry, Kitty. We have to talk about how
Kitty is ejected. Okay. I was like, you could stay here if you're quiet, and then immediately like, meow.
Okay.
Anyway.
Of course.
Yes.
That's the cat behavior.
Right. So, you're right. So, Anya ruins it, and then we have that moment with Damian thinking about, like, well, nobody's here to pick me up,
And he barely has a relationship with his parents. I didn't think he acknowledged that willingly.
Oh, I think he was pretty forward about that.
No, yes, here, but I thought he wouldn't have ever said that to her, like, this soon, at least.
Oh,
yeah, I don't really have a
mean,
relationship with my parents.
they're in a situation where he can't exactly hide it, and
fair
at this
enough.
point, while he's not necessarily she blew it with I'll come you're home tomorrow.
Introduce our parents.
I do think he's in a spot that he can trust her at least a little.
Yeah.
Right. No,
And plus-
I think I was just surprised to see Damian actually opening up at all to her.
Yeah,
he hasn't really done that before.
I think also because his mom is in the picture now, like Anya knows about his mom, and like it's more open that he's able to discuss it. Like he can't just like bring it up if Anya had never met or talked to his parents or anything like that before. So I think now's a good time, especially with how shaken up he is.
Right.
But anyway, so and Anya kind of is kind of feeling the same way, because like she has that moment where she's like looking out and like all these kids are getting picked up, and she's mom and dad aren't there.
She's left with Damian.
Yeah, and then boom, cut away to Mama Forger running all the way from the apartment.
I know.
Well, I mean, of course she was gonna.
Of course, Anya was gonna run over there. She doesn't need a car. She can just run fast enough.
Yeah, I was like, you ran.
I've wondered if she knows how to drive.
That's a good question. I don't know if she does. I don't know. Well, Loid does, but like I don't know if he has like a fake driver's license. Anyway, so Yora comes in, and I love this moment.
Yeah,
I love it
too.
when Anya just starts breaking down, and it's like this is what I was wanting to see, like not necessarily like during the actual hijacking itself, but like this was Anya finally, like all the adrenaline's gone, and she's a 4-year-old girl. What's a fucking 4-year-old gonna do after this situation?
I mean, it cried.
And it's a good, healthy response to the situation she's been. It'd be weirder if she hadn't cried at all.
Right.
So
Henderson's like, thank God, like she's not like traumatized.
Like this is good. It means that she's having a healthy show for emotions, expressing herself with someone she cares about and trusts, who is her mama. It's great stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
She's processing. She's processing.
Yeah, she is. And it's good. It's good. She's processing.
It's good. It's great. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
100%. All right, we're gonna get into it. The moment between Yor and Anya, absolutely love it. And then it cuts to my man, Loid Forger. Who has been there the entire time.
I am angry about this. I am angry about this crew.
Okay, hold on. No, hold on.
Let's get some back.
Okay, hold on. Blue.
Blue.
Okay, Blue. All right, Blue. I want you to stop. Tell me why you feel so. Tell me why people on the server are pissed off at Loid. Tell me.
Okay. Okay. Clearly, we have some very different opinions about what's going on right now, and I'm still kind of reeling from this information.
Yeah.
But I remember when I read that part, I smacked my bed really hard, trying not to scream out loud.
Really?
Because I was angry. I'm not gonna lie, I was angry that they just revealed that Loid had supposedly been there for nearly the entire time, or at least some part of it, at least majority of the night. For sure, he was there in disguise as what was it? I forgot the name of it.
He's one of the strike team.
Yes, strike team. Was with his face covered and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like, put this into context. We've been spending like months freaking out about, okay, Anya's in danger. We don't know what the hell Yor is. We know Loid is gone. And we have been arguing with ourselves and with other people in the comments about why Sylvia hasn't told Loid. And you're telling me that this entire time she did tell him, but it was done off screen and he showed up and he was watching this entire thing unfold the entire fucking time. But he also didn't do anything about it because he couldn't, because he's a fucking spy and he's not supposed to stand out, right? And we were all stressed out of our fucking minds wondering, where the hell is this man? Is he just dead or something? He is in another country. We thought he didn't know that this was going on. We thought he was completely separated from the situation. And you're telling me this entire time he was here. The entire time he was here, and he didn't do anything about it. And you're telling me I can't be, like, no wonder everyone's fucking pissed off. Do you know how many people are angry about this right now, dude?
Okay, so a couple of things. I do want to clarify that it's not known if he was there the entire time. Okay.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if he like snuck in after the fact, disguised as a strike team member. There's there's a lot we don't know. I do agree. Or okay, I'll just clarify that. Roski, what are you feeling before I give my 2 cents?
I mean, I do think that the big problem here is the clumsiness of how the information was conveyed. Because if we had some clarity on this situation, we could have like a better read. First, because for once, it feels like a cop out. Like we were lied to as an audience. One of the first things they established was that Sylvia wasn't telling Lloyd, like, no, don't tell him. He's in a mission and wherever, and it's gonna take time to come back and blah blah. So this kind of goes in the face of that, but not really. Like there's some possibilities there, but it kind of contradicts something that's established. Like, but that's not how the story was set up. Like the fact that you can find alternate explanations to what happened doesn't mean it will fix the narrative problem, because it doesn't feel cohesive to what was established. So that's the first problem. The second one is that the end result is whether he was there at the tail end of the situation or all along since the moment the strike team got there or whatever. It just ends up neglecting the audience to get to see Loid processing the situation, because it could have been that he was impotent to help. He was just seeing the boss from outside, and then he's actually relieved that Anya is well and all. But we don't get to see that, so he's just like, he actually saw but processed it, and we are left out of any potential character development or any potential. We are just like, he cares. Bye. Like the annoying part is that the way this was presented, like, kind of strips away any emotional impact about what he will think about this, and that's not even addressing that. There's still the question of where the fuck did he find out? Found the time to come back to Ostania to to solve this problem.
and
It's
see,
clumsy. It's like
and that
really
goes
clumsy.
back to I think that goes back to him. I don't think he was there the entire time. I think because there's no way he could have been there the entire time. He probably just showed up like an hour or two before, disguised as strike team. But okay, so I understand where you're coming from. It I do, and I think. Well, going to Roski's point, I kind of have a suspicion that like the actual like introspection and all of that is going to come later because the way this chapter started, it's already in the future and this is like a flashback. So like we're already past this. This has already happened, and I think the coming chapters are going to be, more fleshing out Loid and yours thought process and all of that. That's my suspicion. I don't know that for a fact, but that I would like for that to happen. I think this is a good time to do that because you're right. We don't see how Loid is processing this. And then as far as Loid not doing anything and just like being there, I don't see it that way. I guess because I see it as like, okay, I I understand why people are mad. I understand that like he's been there, he didn't do a goddamn thing. But that's kind of the good part about that is he didn't have to do anything. Like I think he was there, he was gonna help storm that bus, and then when it came down to it, he was gonna take out Billy and he was gonna make sure that none of the kids got shot. He didn't have
Yeah.
to do that, and
No.
I
Yeah. I
that
mean,
yeah, and that was
I don't think it's a problem that he didn't get to do anything. It's how
mhm,
it's how the way it was
how it's
conveyed
presented.
ended up and ended up feeling like an anticlimax. Like
I
it's just
do agree with that. I do agree with that part because when I was reading it, I was eating breakfast with Mrs. Crow and I was trying to scroll through this real quick and I saw that part and I just stopped and I stared off into space for a good like minute or two, and she asked me what was wrong and I was like, I don't even know anymore. Like I was just like I was kind of like done with everything. Uh, but like I'm not mad at him. Like I don't see why I would be mad at him because he did come. Like that was the thing. Was like, yeah, even though I didn't see it, and like maybe I'll have more
yeah.
explanation on that later. But he came. Like he could
Wow,
have.
that's great. The bare minimum.
No,
I
I
mean, what
mean,
else was he supposed to do? I mean, there's nothing he could have done.
Ugh.
yeah,
There's
he was
literally
he
nothing
was
he
in a
could have done.
situation where if he did more, well, it will have just made the entire situation a complete fucking mess. Like he will have blown his cover. He will have. Like, there was no other thing he could do. That I'm not mad at the character. I'm mad at the writing, which is not the
That's
same thing.
fair. That's fair.
Okay. I
Like
get.
I'm not.
What
I've
you
calmed
feeling,
down.
Blue?
No, I've calmed down. That's all.
The adrenaline is draining from me like Anya.
Yes, and I'm gonna cry about it.
No, don't cry.
Okay.
I actually almost wanted to cry after I was done reading
Oh
this.
no, don't.
A little bit.
Loid doesn't deserve your tears.
It wasn't for Loid. It was for like all the other bits I read. To be honest.
Okay, so
Yeah.
those bits that we're talking about, are you talking about what I think we're talking about?
Well,
Oh
we're
yeah,
about to get
we have to
into,
talk
yeah.
about
Well,
it.
let's get into it because
Yeah.
we'll come back to Loid and like the implications and all that stuff later. But the
Yes.
real juice that we want to discuss here
Whew.
is Damian and his mother.
Who actually showed up.
Melinda
I didn't
showed
think
up.
anyone was going to show up.
And she drove. It wasn't like a chauffeur or anything like that. She ran out of her car and like ran over to Damian. She's like, "Oh my god, I love you. I'm so sorry. Like, I'm glad you're not
Yeah.
hurt." And
I
like
know.
what proceeded after this, and like I didn't really get it because when Anya and she's like reading her thoughts. And she's like, "Oh God, it's Yuri all over again." But I was like, I didn't see it as like crazy, but I guess that's how Endo was like trying to convey it. Was like she was like super
He was like, oh,
extra.
I mean, it sounded really doting.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't think it was meant to be crazy. I think it was supposed to be that she just has very intensely strong feelings for her son in a very similar way, maybe to how Yuri's thoughts work, because we've seen how Yuri's thoughts work. He rambles on and on and on about how amazing yours, how beautiful yours. It's like all of his like intrusive thoughts are just like flowing through his brain. He has no inhibitor to stop it.
Right.
I feel like Melinda is in like kind of a very similar place of, okay, like what like we're reading here, right? Okay, she is saying how much that's her sweet baby boy. She loves him and she's so
Yeah.
glad that he's safe, right? And then he asks her, "Don't tell
Oh,
father that I cried." And she pauses and her face just changes like in an instant.
Yeah.
And we see that first dark bubble of her saying, "I never should have come here."
Mm-hmm.
And then it just gets worse as she's
Yeah.
saying,
oh,
If only he died in the hijacking.
yeah.
yeah.
I
I mean,
and then saying, "Oh, Damian," and it's all mixed up, right? She's saying how
Yeah.
much she loves him and how he disgusts her and how he's her treasure and he's also her curse and how she like they covered this part up with some of the Japanese writing, I think, but it said, "I pray
Yeah.
he doesn't stay with me long," and how
Yeah.
much she adores him and how much she couldn't care less, and it's like two sides of her brain are battling with each other between her motherly instinct kicking into overdrive into how
Yeah.
much she actually really cares about her son, but then also she's like trying to it's like mixed in with all these feelings of, I don't want to care about my son, because that's what happened last time we saw her when Yor
yeah.
was insisting like, "Oh, your son got hit by my daughter, that's pretty bad." She said, "I literally couldn't care
Uh,
less."
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Practically.
the thing
And like
is,
it's coming out here too, and
Yeah.
it obviously one is confused about like, why is she acting like this? She clearly
Yeah.
I
loves her son,
mean,
but then she's saying all these
I,
horrible things
I
or
mean,
thinking all these horrible things.
now that you put
What's
it
up, Roski?
like the sequence of events, I do think that there's a pretty clear implication, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just an hypothesis. It's just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when she first came, she was in like protective mode. Oh yeah, my sweet son, I blah blah blah. It's when Damien mentions Donovan that all these more aggressive, negative, hateful thoughts come in. So it's
Yeah.
like she loves Damien, but hates that Damien is tying her to Donovan.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's basically what everyone kind of agreed on when we were
Yeah.
Yeah, but
discussing Melinda.
but some people started like, does she have split personality? Like, I don't think that is. I just think she's conflicted.
No,
But
I don't think that's what it is. That's not how DID works.
yeah,
No, I
that's
don't
not
believe.
how a split personality works at all.
Yeah,
Even
no,
in
you don't
fiction.
just switch between. Yeah, so
Oh,
I don't think that's what that
you
was.
know what? You know what it reminds me of is Todoroki's mom from My Hero Academia,
Mm.
Oh,
where
Oh
she's
God.
just yeah,
oh
yeah. Well,
God,
I mean,
no!
uh,
to
So
me, this is exactly that. This is her like dealing with the fact that yes, she loves her child, but at the same time, he is his son, and like she hates him, and
right.
there's a part of him in her son, and she just cannot stand that. And
Yeah.
also, every time she looks at him, she's reminded of Donovan. So like,
Unfortunately, yes. And there were a
yeah,
few different ideas. Some people thought, well, I know personally for me and like other people, we've been very curious about like, well, how did Melinda and Donovan end up married when they seem to hate each other and be so dysfunctional? Their
yeah,
family seems to be so broken up. And I mean, we kind of just assumed, well, maybe it was like an arranged marriage thing and they
yeah,
just never wanted to be together, but they were forced to for reasons. And
yeah.
um, I I do not doubt that Melinda and Donovan hate each other, or at the very least, Melinda clearly hates Donovan.
hates.
I don't really know about Donovan himself
Yeah.
right now, but it's very
Mhm.
clear that she has some very fucked up negative feelings for her husband. Um, and I had talked about this, or I've been thinking about this, and it's like one theory. It doesn't make 100% sense, but it was like
Mhm.
a thought, and my thought was basically, well, like, what if, like, what I believe might be happening here, and this is one theory, is that Melinda is seeing how Damien is kind of trying so hard to be loved and accepted by his own father and to even gain his attention. And I
Mhm.
wonder if she looks at him and sees herself in that, or used to see a part of herself in that, like the trying to get
Uh,
Donovan's attention in some fucking way and just not
yeah.
receiving any of that attention or love that she wanted from
Mhm.
him. And now she's seeing
Uh,
it kind of being repeated again in her son. And,
Mhm.
the more I thought about it, it was like, okay, well, in this case, let's pretend that for some reason Melinda is like Donovan's second wife or whatever, and she had Damian with him, and Demetrius actually came from a first marriage, and Donovan either never got over that first marriage or lost a wife or whatever, and because of the way Damian is getting compared to Demetrius, I wonder if Donovan actually compared Melinda to his first wife, and she just never, she could never compete or never compare to that first wife. And because of it, because of the way Damian is struggling now to be loved by his father, Melinda is just remembering how she spent a lot of her marriage trying to do the same thing, and it never amounted to anything for her. But yeah, that was one thought. This only hinges on the idea that Melinda truly did love Donovan, and I'm not 100% sure on that. But the way I see it, because I watched this cool YouTube channel called Cinema Therapy. I'd highly recommend them. Something that the therapist on there said is that you can only hate someone as much as you were hurt by them, as in you cared about them and you loved them, to hate them that much. And that makes sense to me. I feel that Melinda must have loved Donovan at some point, but it wasn't enough, or it just turned into this very intense hatred, because there's a difference between being indifferent hatred, I think, towards a person, and then deeply passionately hating them because you cared about them at one point, or they cared about you, and it's kind of fucked you over. That's my thought, at least, because
to that first point, as I think that would be a crazy way for Endo to further tie the Desmonds and the Foragers, is if Melinda was the second wife.
The second wife.
Yeah.
And I also had another thought about the second wife thing, being that maybe Donovan only remarried to keep Demetrius at Eden. So he was like, I'll just pick someone who's willing to marry me. So Demetrius stays at Eden. I don't know. This is just a crack theory. Oh, okay, it's like kind of a half-baked theory. It could be real, but I need more information before I can say for sure.
Well, okay. All right, Roski, you have returned. Let me fill you in on this. Blue is saying that possibly Melinda is Donovan's second wife, and that the reason why Donovan took a second wife was because the first wife died. He loved her very much, and the only reason he even married was to keep Demetrius in Eden for looks,
which is another foil to Loid and the Forger.
That's what I'm saying. That's a really good theory, and I love it. I love it.
No, that sounds good. Like, I actually really like this theory. But...
it's but to that, God, what was that second point that you made? I my brain is
about the love hatred thing.
Re-clarify for me. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was saying that you can, at least from what I remember hearing from Cinema Therapy, right? I said that you can only usually you can only really passionately hate someone for as much as you kind of tried to love them or had these strong feelings of positivity towards them that turn to hatred or negativity. It depends on some levels, but like to passionately hate someone that much, I mean, that only really comes out from like family members, married couples. I feel like personally that
it's debatable. I mean,
remember, my theory is baked in the idea that Melinda also cared about Donovan enough to hate him that much.
Well, I don't think it necessarily boils down to. I mean, you could get into like the whole semantics of like hate and all of that, but I think just the fact that you were wronged deeply enough is enough to leave a scar. I think, and if that were the case, like if I was only a tool to be used as, I hate to say it, but like a fucking birthing machine, just have children and take care of your fucking child from another woman and not be loved at all. Yeah, I would hate you too.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that that's exactly what happened, but
no, but I mean, she doesn't really. She doesn't really need to be emotionally invested in Donovan as a person to feel dehumanized in a situation like that.
That's okay. That's fair.
Yeah,
that was just me. I don't know. Because I've been in that group chat with with our friends. Yeah. We've come with a lot of different ideas. Some of them were like they hate each other. Some of them were like, well, maybe they loved each other and it just turned to hatred or fizzled away or something. So like I got a lot of mixed up feelings reading this chapter for sure. Yeah, seeing Melinda acting this way, because I mean, for a lot of it, I truly felt bad for Melinda's character, because this is sort of related, but like I had been watching Buddy Daddies recently again, there was an episode 3, where Kazuki goes to meet Miri's mother, her biological mother, and they have this conversation at a bar, and her mother is just talking about how much she didn't want a baby, but she had no choice, and she resents her daughter, and every time her daughter laughs, she just wants to hit her. And, she feels like her daughter's making fun of her for her misfortunes in life. And, as much as I do not condone the way that mother really treated her daughter, or feels that way, I think it's unfair, of course, for her to pin all this misfortune on her daughter. That's not fair at all. But a part of me also did feel somewhat sympathetic for this woman who ended up pregnant and got no help, no child support, no anything from the man that got her pregnant, because she was a mistress, and he basically kicked her out. So, lots of complicated emotions, I think, just come out from the fact that sometimes you just have women who end up mothers who didn't want to be, or don't like the situation they're in, and they end up kind of hating or resenting their children. And I truly feel sorry for them. Like,
And and I really want to see. I want this explored more in the coming chapters,
I do too.
And that's why I want my theory to be correct, that this is going to be like a recovery arc of just like a few chapters of people just like coming to terms with what happened and like their inability to do anything.
I hope that you're, as a friend, can really help Melinda work through some of these emotions she's probably feeling right now. I'm not saying she's gonna fix everything, but I think she needs to. I think it'd be great if Yor could somehow get Melinda thinking more about herself and her relationship with Damian and her relationship with her husband. Like, whatever comes out of it comes out of it. It's just like you've planted the seed, you planted a very strong idea in our minds about the way Melinda is. Like, how are you going to follow this up? Like, I desperately want to know more about what the fuck is going on with the Desmonds, because this is really juicy shit.
It's very juicy shit.
Like, we're getting all this stuff with Melinda and Damian. It's like, we still haven't even met Demetrius yet. So,
well, that's a whole other factor that I don't even want to think about right now. I'm so overloaded as it is.
I know,
right?
I know.
So I want, and that's a good point. I want the Desmonds and the Forgers to learn from each other, not just
I do too.
Not just the Forgers being good influences on the Desmonds. Mm-hmm. I also want the Forgers to reevaluate themselves in comparison to the Desmonds,
and like kind of how they fell. Like, they
right, like extrapolate all the parts that are bad and learn from them, and then like become better parents because of it, better family members.
I know that Endo's writing usually is very strong and very smart, and it's not usually like, oh, this is a one and done, black and white, this is the bad guy, this is the good guy, this is who was wrong and who was right in the situation. That's not really Endo's style of writing per se. Because I only say this because, like, we've seen plenty of examples of this. Like, obviously, Loid's chapter, his backstory, was a very big example of it. But I want to say we had even smaller bits of it, like when Yuri was tracking down that reporter, and we find out that the man is struggling with money. He's trying to take care of his elderly father. They lost their mother, and Yuri still tried to help the guy's father get some kind of assistance because he didn't want to just leave him out for dead. Like, that's great writing. I want something just as good, something just as thought-provoking with the Desmonds. I don't want to truly think of them as just one note villains, because that would just feel disappointing after everything we've kind of been building up about.
It will go against the themes of the manga. Like,
people are complicated.
It will go against what established, but I mean, it just raises the question of what the hell is up with Donovan. Well, many horrible political figures that do promote harm, that do promote all these horrible ideals, usually are often come from backgrounds where that crap was imposed onto them, and they learn to think that way. So, like, we have a social reclusive that clearly has a very dysfunctional, most likely fundamentally abusive relationship with his son, with his wife, and you just have to wonder what the hell brought him up to be that way, to be that untrustful, to be that aggressive, to be that. We're clearly talking about someone that is most definitely a violent man, but why?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what gets
Well, and that's, I mean, I'm sure we're gonna find that out, but that won't be further. I won't be till very later in the manga.
Oh, I'm sure, but I cannot wait for the day that gets dropped into our laps. I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
And in the meantime, like I said, I want to see more of what's going on in people's heads, especially Loid. Okay, we're gonna go back to Loid because all right, I don't. All right, we already discussed about like why we're upset with him, why we're not upset with him. I think, like I said, this is going to be a good opportunity to see. And here's the thing too. I've said it before: is that manga Loid is much more sanitized than anime Loid. Like that's just how it is, and that's Endo's vision for this is Loid to be sanitized. Otherwise, he would make him, over the top, lovey, all that stuff. But he doesn't, and like I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. The anime takes it one way and the manga takes it another way. This, I think, actually is in line with a lot of what our commenters were talking about. Of like, yes, Loid is Twilight. He is still Twilight. Twilight is the best spy in the world. He's in spy mode constantly, and here I would argue that he wasn't in Twilight mode. Really? I would say that, I mean, he and kudos to Handler too. Again, we don't know if Handler was the one who told him directly or somebody else tipped him off or whatever. But Loid found out, and like some of our commenters were saying, like if he found out, there's nothing he could do, so he's just going to focus on the mission. He didn't do that. As soon as he found out, he rushed all the way back here, threw on a disguise, and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go in there and I'm going to keep Anya safe.
You're saying that he was acting like Loid because he kind of got reckless.
He was in dad mode. Like I do firmly believe that he was in dad mode, and like I understand the dislike for his react when the two of them are talking, and he's like, I'll just whip up her favorite dinner or something like that. And I don't get me wrong, I want Loid Forger to show up. But he couldn't because, and like we had discussed, we didn't know if he was on a business trip or not. He was on a business trip, quote unquote.
Right. Okay. And we were right about that.
right. And he's still out. He's still out of town as far as everybody else knows.
Yeah, just show up right now or anything.
Yeah, he can't just show up. He can't.
Okay.
Like I get it. It's frustrating.
I understand where you're coming from because. I've calmed down now.
I get it. But, now, I guess now it's my freak out turn. But I'm like, I'm just like, no, I get it. I understand. Like,
it's a little hard because we have been, we did something dumb. We built up in our heads way too much about what kind of reaction we thought we'd get from Loid right off the bat. We wanted a very specific situation of him coming home and not barely knowing until this moment and freaking out over it.
Right.
And then struggling with the guilt and the frustration. But as it turns out, Handler was kind enough to inform him that, Anya was in danger and they got him back in town. And you know what? I guess at the very least, it's good to know that Wise has his back on that.
Yeah.
Okay, if you care about Anya, we care about Anya. Like, she's for the mission, but she's also a little girl who needs some help.
And kudos to Handler on that. Like, I applaud Handler for
she handled it. Loid. Yeah, she handled the situation really well. And I know we had a lot of criticisms. Well, not us personally, but we did worry about, like, well, where is she going with this? Like, why is she doing it this way?
Right.
And I know a lot of people were saying that, well, no, she shouldn't do it because it's not a smart move, and some people said, well, it's still fucked up that she did. And it's like, I think we found like a happy middle ground.
Yeah, definitely.
The two,
it's an awkward middle ground.
Well, she took charge of the situation first and then told Loid. I think that's what it boils down to.
All I take away from this is a Handler can do anything.
Like that is fair.
Handler can do anything. She's amazing.
Well, she can't do anything.
She can have it all.
She can't have it all. Good. Yeah. You picked a wonderful woman, Roski. Good for you.
I know. Congratulations.
It's good. I guess it's like we were fed the wrong bits of information in that sense, but that was also like a focus matter. Like, we're gonna put this on the back so we can give space to Anya and Billy and the central conflict. The entire situation was presented this way, so Loid will be out of focus. So your will be out of focus, and to keep that spotlight to Anya. And I get that, and I think that was a smart move. But it just
So,
could have been handled better.
all right, I forgot my main point, but talking about like the actual like presentation of how all this played out, I have a sneaking suspicion because this kind of reminds me of like late stage Bleach. Okay,
Oh boy.
Oh
of
no!
like, and I don't, and this is just a theory, but part of me feels like Endo is getting overloaded. Okay, and he's rushing these chapters. I say rushing with quotation marks because like we were getting it like once a month, but I think he's got so much on his plate that he can't fill out the chapters like he wants to. And so we get these
Hmm.
condensed chapters. I'm not saying for this whole arc. I'm saying for the past like 2 or 3 chapters.
All right.
Because
Yeah,
it,
yeah. I get what.
yeah, because this chapter, it was a short chapter, and a lot of these panels were reused. I'm
Mm.
looking at it right now. They're reused from the last chapter. Okay, and like I don't know. I part of me has a sinking because Kubo had this same problem towards the end where he was having burnout, and like a lot of what you see for those who haven't read the manga and are only watching the Thousand Year Blood War arc in the anime right
Oh
now,
yeah,
a lot
it
of
was
what's in
it
the
was
anime
rough.
right now was not in the manga. Like that was all added after the fact, but it was all things that Kubo wanted to put in the manga originally, but just didn't have the opportunity to do it.
Wow.
Um, and
Really?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like I don't know. To me, this kind of has that same vibe of like I wanted to see Loid. You know, even just like Sylvia calling Loid out of the blue or like getting in contact with him or something. Like just one panel or 2 panels of that would have been
Yeah.
fine. But
What?
like we didn't even get that. So
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I
Yeah,
mean
I mean that's the
that
problem. The unspoken kind of assumption that things happen in the background that we just kind of have to piece together on our own is a little frustrating. It's kind
right.
of
yeah,
not great
but I get it.
writing.
What's up, Roski?
But I get what Kurao is saying. Like, if you haven't seen the later chapters of Lich, it was rough,
Yeah.
and people
Mm.
gave Kubo a lot of shit for that. And like,
Oh, poor guy.
if we took the product on a vacuum, you could see the criticisms. But
Yeah.
manga isn't produced in a vacuum. Manga is a product that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of it
A lot of
builds upon things
politics.
that were yeah. So I could see this being a problem because uh, I mean, Spy Family is the sleeper hit of this generation. It was not
Mhm.
advertised. It was just thrown to the wilderness to thrive or die.
Hmm.
They didn't care, and it exploded in
And it
popularity.
created a
And nobody,
kingdom. No, I'm playing.
Yo,
and yeah, and
no,
nobody,
it kind of
and
did.
nobody saw it coming. And
Yeah.
didn't see it coming. On all the crap that piles up,
Yeah.
I could see end up taking more time to add like last chapter or even prior to that a page
Hmm.
like a page
Yeah.
of Twilight in the Phone. Yeah, and
Just
wait,
further
what?
explanation.
Yeah,
Right.
further
Yeah.
explanation that actually builds up because if you put that in some of the past chapters, you get this build up of Lloyd got notified.
Yeah.
How is he gonna act? And then you get
Right.
the reveal.
That would have
Oh,
created so much extra tension
Oh
if
yeah.
Lloyd knew about it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we didn't
because
see him act on it because he's a country away. Like what the fuck is he supposed to do?
no,
So
yeah,
Right,
like
because
right.
I mean, if they put a panel like that in past chapters, and then we get this reveal, it will feel satisfying. It will feel like,
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, you're
he
totally
actually
right.
got
Yeah.
satisfied. He got
yeah.
word. He act. Oh yeah, but we have to act on the assumption, and it's a possibility, a very
Yeah.
real possibility that Endo wanted to put something like that, and he wasn't able to because he had to rush this into production because yeah, I mean, a manga chapter in a month is still a lot of work. Like, yeah,
Well,
yeah, it's a lot of
and
art.
even then, like the amount of work that Endo is doing, because there are monthly manga chapters that come out that are like 60 pages. Okay,
Right, right.
Endo has had a month for this chapter, and it's not even like 20 pages. So like, I don't know. To me, and Endo can do decent sized chapters, but like I said, I think it's Burnout. I have no proof of that. I have no way to prove that, but I don't know. That's just my sneaking suspicion because I don't know. I think And this is just my 2 cents.
I mean, I'm not, as someone who loves art as much as the next person, I like drawing as well. And Roski loves drawing as well. Like, we all enjoy our art and our crafts. Like, it's a tough process, and especially doing it to an industry standard is fucking insane sometimes. So
It's
I'm not really, I'm not angry at Endo for what he puts out or anything, but we do have to react and read it and kind of critique it on some level, because this is the product that's being put out, and I will never blame Endo if he had to take a break or couldn't put out the best possible work he wanted to.
Yeah.
But it's like, we get what we get.
Right.
And it's like, it's better than him not obviously updating at all. That would suck. It would just suck more.
I mean, we can have thoughts about the art, but let's never forget that it's the product of an artist that has to work on constraints.
And I remember what we were talking about with Alex when she was on the podcast about how there's very little backgrounds in Spy X Family, and I chalked that up to the main focus being the characters, not necessarily the backgrounds. And I still think that's true. But now I'm also thinking it might also have to do with like the crunch and the budget, or not the budget, but definitely the crunch.
For sure,
the crunch.
Just the time crunch.
Yeah. And some people, I mean, some mangaka, they can put it out. Like, we're all reading Dandadan. Like, Dandadan is like insane because
that's
like
got so much detail,
much detail, action, backgrounds. But like that guy is also known as like a workaholic and is just like writing 24/7. And like some mangaka just aren't like that. Like some mangaka, like some of them have bad health. Some of them are just like very detail oriented, and like it takes them a long time to get the panel that they want correctly. Right. And then that's not a bad thing. Everyone works at their own pace. It's just some people are more obligated to compare manga
it's a little unfair. It's a little unfair the way fans will compare different mangaka to each other and their works, being like, well, this artist could do this and you couldn't do that even with this. It's like, well, they're not the same people. Of course they're not going to
the same people. They don't have the same conditions. They don't have the same amount of people helping them. That's another factor. Not everyone has the same amount of assistance.
And not only that, but different artists, different levels sometimes, sometimes some are really talented and really great.
You cannot just compare.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Endo's getting all the assistance and time that
rest.
He needs.
I really hope he's getting his rest.
Yeah. But as far as the manga, what we've seen and what we've discussed these past few chapters over the past couple months, what do you think? Or where do you see it going from here? There's like I said, you already know how I feel. I think it's going to be like a recovery arc, but I don't know how are y'all feeling.
I mean, they opened the can of worms with Melinda, so I think we're gonna get more of that.
Do you think this was all part of the Melinda arc?
No, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that, but they ended this chapter with Melinda, so they are gonna have to.
It seemed that came out of nowhere. In my opinion, I don't know. Like, it kind of like.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of Endo style? Things just kind of come out of nowhere. The hijacking kind of came out of nowhere.
Loid's flashback came.
Well, we're not talking about Loid now.
I mean, that's kind of Endo's style.
It's an example of.
And we've talked about that.
Well, surprise, motherfucker! We're not gonna get something completely different.
Yeah. I mean, subtlety isn't exactly Endo's forte. I'm not saying he can't do it, but he doesn't often do it.
True.
It's manga. What manga does subtlety?
That's true.
I guess. Well, you would think there'd be subtlety in a spy manga, but apparently not.
Oh no, this is like not subtle at all. But well, like we've talked about, the exaggerations and the kind of the craziness of it is what makes it so much of a joy to read sometimes, and it still is. I'm very satisfied. I guess not satisfied is the right word, but I guess I feel somewhat satisfied that we did get an ending to this arc, and we're getting some more new stuff, which just means more exciting things along the way. Like, maybe we're not going to get Melinda right away, but we are getting very, very strong notes of this is we're talking about the Desmonds right now, or maybe there'll be more talk about the Desmonds, considering now we have Anya and Damian are kind of on the same level of, well, we can be friends, I guess.
Yeah.
I respect you, I like you, and I'm sorry for making fun of you. Like, that's good. That's a good start for their
Yeah.
friendship. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is going to lead to them being super best friends immediately, but this is a good slow buildup of like, hey, we're making some progress, guys. Like, we're actually making progress
Right.
Yeah.
after
Seeing the
how
dots
many
It is
connect.
progress.
yeah. And it's
Genuine
good. Like,
progress.
it's just slow. That's the only issue. We're
Yeah.
getting it's really, really slow.
Yeah.
And that's something we've talked about a lot, is that, we get these things coming every 2 weeks, every month, however long Endo needs to put this shit out.
Yeah.
And, for us, it feels like agony because we're like slowly working our way towards that next chapter, to that
Yeah.
next great big update. But
Yeah.
if we had read this all at once, we probably wouldn't complain. And that's just the nature of us reading something that's being serialized as it's coming out.
Right.
And,
Right.
Yeah.
like, I think that this was overall, this was just a really fantastic chapter. Lots of really great shit.
Yeah.
It just got my blood pumping. I was like,
Yeah, I could tell.
it was so excited. It was so exciting. Yeah.
Your screaming is going to be the intro for this.
I figured. Nothing could really
give the
top
people
that.
what they want, Blue. Yes.
Yeah, but lots of exciting new stuff coming in. Like, lots of stuff that we really wanted to see, right?
Yeah.
I really want to see more of the Desmonds. I really want to see more of Loid and Yor and Yuri. Like, let's
Yuri,
take a moment to talk about
Yuri.
how great Yuri was. I mean, he really delivered
Yuri's
during
so
this arc.
Great.
It was
I'm sure
actually,
that's what he wants Yor to say.
it was actually really funny. Like, Sky was saying, like, man, you guys got, like, she was making fun of Loid, saying, like, oh my god, I actually like Yuri more than Loid right now, and I hate that guy. Like, I can't believe this is happening during Black History Month.
Wait, what?
She's black. Because she's black. That's why.
Okay, well, it's like what?
Sky.
No, I understand. It's just like
I know.
so very random.
Oh yeah, no, it was just really funny to me.
Lloyd, are you ethnic? Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
But no, it was. I think
had a terrible thought. I'm not gonna. I'll tell you afterwards. I'm recording.
Okay.
Oh god.
But anyway. I think that we got a really great. We just got everyone shining during this chapter who needed to shine.
Yes.
Or at least like different characters than the main ones, which is great, like we talked about. And there was just overall really well done. I am excited about what we're gonna have going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe we'll get a bit of a cool down, and maybe we'll get some more stuff with Loid, which would be great if we got some more of him. Him thinking about what's been going on. And
yeah, I would like the blanks filled in, like, yeah, because since this was a flashback, I kind of want a flashback with him.
Maybe we'll get flashbacks with the Forgers, Yor and Loid, or something next chapter about how they were finding out about the situation, like with Loid flying back over to Berlin and Yor running out of the house all the way to meet her daughter.
And that's what gets me too. That's what gets me too. Is originally Handler wasn't going to tell him anything because it was too far away. He wasn't going to make it back in time. But she told him later on, like not even in the beginning. She told him later on, and that motherfucker still flew all the way back there before it all ended. And I was like, you can't tell me he doesn't care. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's the thing. I know. I'm the Loid fanboy here, but like, I don't know. Like,
you're the Loid defender.
I'm the Loid Kinney. No.
It was just that. Why the fuck are you here? Basically, why the fuck are you here?
But you're right. I love this arc. It was a twist and turn at every chapter, and even though we got a lot of the story beats right, we got a lot wrong. So I think that's.
But I mean, that's just the joy of being a fan.
Yeah, exactly.
I like the parts where it hit really good.
Yeah,
it's just that there's some awkward stuff in the middle.
It is what it is. I like I said, it's up there. I would say Inusan, Boat Arc, and then this one, and then everything else after that.
What about Loid's arc? Wow, that's not up there for you?
debatable. I'll figure it out. I'll get my chart ready and I'll put it up in the next episode. Somewhere.
I mean,
Okay.
we have thoughts. And
we do have thoughts.
We have thoughts, and I mean,
I mean,
I'm still gonna have plenty of thoughts after this podcast.
I
But
mean,
this is
it's
good.
better than manga that doesn't make me feel or think anything. It's like, yeah, that happened.
Exactly.
Well, not the fact we have thoughts is a good thing. Like,
yeah,
even
and
feeling
all the
conflicted,
people
even feeling that there's some things that don't deliver, it's a sign that we care. And
yeah,
not every manga can do that.
Yeah,
That's
and
true.
everybody listening to this podcast and commenting, I know y'all care too. Again, feel free to share your thoughts on this arc. Your thoughts going forward, and like, I don't know, do you hate Loid? Do you not hate Loid? How do you feel about Melinda? Let us know, and we'll I don't know, maybe if there's enough responses, we'll take like we'll take like some of your comments and we'll talk about them, because we won't have a chapter for a month, so maybe we'll have like an episode just kind of like doing various things, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. What's up?
Do we want to talk a little bit about that new abridged episode that came out?
Oh, when did it come out?
No, the episode 5, the one I showed you.
Oh, that was like 2 months ago.
I know, but we never talked about it. Don't you?
Did we? I thought we talked about it in the last one.
No, we didn't. We talked up to episode 4 during the school stuff. We never got to episode 5.
I mean, I feel like a whole lot didn't happen in that episode. It was mostly just Yuri talking like a Nazi, and then like you were hating him.
He was supposed to sound like a Russian.
Was it a Russian?
Yeah. It was supposed to be Russian, because Yuri.
Oh, well, I thought Nazi because SSS.
Oh God! I just thought it was a really fantastic episode. It was my favorite of the more recent.
It was better than the one before, for sure.
Yeah, because I thought they made Yuri a lot more funny. I actually have him be like not Yor's biological brother, but he loves her still. Yeah. And there's like a whole joke where he's like, where Loid is saying like, oh, you can consider me a brother, and Yuri says like, that's gross, and Yor would be your sister. He's like, oh, I have some re-examining to do. That was a great joke. I love that even the Abridged was like, yeah, we gotta like tone this down, but also still make fun of it without being super gross.
I just like they made Yor hate him. Just like, God, it's so weird. Like, stop it.
I love Yor. Like, he's so annoying, and also all the pig police jokes were fantastic. I love that.
Yep. Good stuff.
And I also want to shout out this really cool zine that I bought off Twitter. It's called The Diamonds Are Forever, Spike's Family. It's like a fashion zine.
Oh yeah.
Really pretty. I actually did buy the full bundle of it because I loved all the shit I saw. Yeah. Just like the extra shit. There was a Sailor Moon acrylic standee and I couldn't help myself. Like Loid and Yor as Sailor Moon characters. Like,
oh, really? Was he Tuxedo Mask?
Yes, he was! And Yor was Sailor Moon. I loved it. Yeah. I fucking loved it. So I bought that. I just wanted to shout it out. You guys should maybe buy it. It's still on sale for like 3 more weeks.
Oh, hell yeah. Take a picture of it. I'll put it up there on the screen.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We'll put the link in the description below.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think there's anything else that needs to be said.
Nothing coherent from us, guys. We're gonna call it here. Like I said, leave your comments below. If there's enough, enough responses, we'll kind of respond to you guys in the next episode. And if not, well, then we'll see you next chapter. But in the meantime, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all again soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.